Whoa, yeah. Everybody's carrying shadows in their chest, trying to outrun tomorrow, never getting any rest. Scrolling through the madness, headlines full of fear, voices getting louder, but nobody can hear. We build these walls around us, brick by brick each day, but the storm inside our minds just steals the light away. And somewhere in the silence, a whisper cuts right through. Look at all the flowers, they're still breaking. Worry and change the sunrise, can fear stop the rain, can sleepless nights bring back the time we've already watched slip away. No, not one more hour, not one more breath was ever added by living scared to death. So lay it down, let heaven carry what you can't hold. Faith was never meant to walk this road alone. Mothers praying softly with their hands held tight, fathers fighting battles they don't talk about at night, and children watching grown-ups trying hard to stand, learning hope or hopelessness from every trembling hand. The whole world keeps on spinning like it's coming off the rails, but peace was never promised by governments or wealth. It comes inside the moment when surrender finally wins, and you remember God's still bigger than the chaos we are in. Can worry and change the sunrise, can fear stop the rain, can sleepless nights bring back the time we've already watched slip away. No, not one more hour, not one more day was ever found by throwing all our peace away. So lift your eyes, the maker of the stars still knows your name, and tomorrow's not too heavy for his hands to hold. Today, look at the birds in the sky, they don't plant, they don't hide, yet the Father still feeds them every day. And if he holds a sparrow, why would he let you fall away? Oh, the world may shake beneath us, but love remains the same. Can worry and change the sunrise, can fear stop the rain, can panic build a better road, or heal a world in pain? No, not one more hour, not one heartbeat more. So why keep dragging chains you were never made for? Let the peace come rushing in like the tide upon the shore, and live the life you've been given instead of fearing what's in store. No, not one more hour, so breathe and let go.
Yeah. You don't get to look away anymore. Not after what we've seen. not after what we know. Can't sugarcoat evil, I refuse to disguise. Truth hit different when you look in their eyes. Little shoes on the staircase cold, teddy bear stories that were never told. Paper trails buried deep in the vault. Everyone pointing fingers, not my fault. Money moves quiet, power moves slick. Smiles on TV while the system's sick. High walls, black cars, tinted glass. Closed door meetings, let the scandals pass. You say conspiracy to silence the room, but the victims ain't theories, they carry the wounds. We were distracted, divided by noise, arguing headlines, girls and boys. Meanwhile, predators leverage position, protected by status, wealth and tradition. If justice blind, who tied the cloth? Who benefits most when the truth gets lost? If power's clean, then why the fear? When sealed up, pages start coming near.
Wake up, no more shadows, no more silence, no more halos. You can't hide behind the fame. If you fed the fire, you share the flame. Wake up, hear that sound, that's the truth breaking ground. For every child who lost their life, we stand up, we fight tonight.
400,000 missing a year. Tell me why the number don't trigger fear. Why the outrage fade in a week? Why the strong stay silent when the small can't speak? Institutions polished in gold, preaching mercy but the record's cold. If you knew and turned away, silence made you complicit that day. Not left, not right, this ain't a side. Evil don't care about party lines. It's about power abused in dark, about stolen futures before they start. Ballrooms, back rooms, private flights, handshakes hidden from public sight. If your wealth was built on pain, history gon' carve your name. Truth don't die, it waits its turn. Every lie got a fuse that burns. When it sparks, don't act surprised. We warned you once, we're done being quiet.
Wake up, no more shadows, no more silence, no more halos. You can't hide behind the fame. If you fed the fire, you share the flame. Wake up, hear that cry, that's a child asking why. For every tear that fell unseen, we breaking chains, we intervene.
Don't call it hate when we call out wrong. Protecting children ain't extreme, it's strong. You uncomfortable, good, sit with it. Truth ain't gentle when it's explicit. If the stage was bright, but the deals were dark. If the laughter masked a predator's mark. If you profited off the broken and small, the reckoning coming for one and all. No more heroes called from lies. No more idols we idolize. Character measured by what you defend, not the image you try to send. This ain't vengeance, this is guard duty. Standing 10 toes for human dignity. If you righteous, then stand with us. If you guilty, start feeling the rush because the tide turning. You feel that shift. No more shielding, the powerful click. Every child worth more than gold. And we the generation bold.
Hold the line, protect the young. No more deals behind closed doors done. If we the people, prove it now, not someday later, not somehow. Love ain't passive, faith ain't blind. Reflected in our eyes. Wake up, hear that sound, that's the system shaking down. For every child who lost their life, we stand up, we fight tonight. We stand up, we stand up, we fight tonight. We stand up.
Old Fred from London. Old Fred from London heard the latest news, nearly spilled his afternoon brew. An American grower was Amsterdam bound, meeting legends the whole world knew. growers from Canada, Spain, and Peru, talking terps till the morning light. Fred checked his diary, scratched his head and sighed, well, that's not right. No train to catch, no flight to ride, no holiday left to burn. Then somebody smiled and whispered low, mate, your luck's about to turn. Here comes the doobie drone, buzzing through the skies, straight from Amsterdam today, with a great surprise. No airport queues, no traffic blues, just humming all alone. Everybody clap your hands, here comes the doobie drone. The growers laughed around the cup, showing flowers fit for kings. The American smiled and rolled a grin.
I think I've just the thing.
Packed it snug inside the drone, checked the batteries twice, hit the launch and watched it climb, smooth as paradise. Fred was driving private hire, picking travelers one by one. Then his phone lit up and beeped, special delivery has begun. Every traffic light turned red, every crossing gate stayed down. A little Mini wouldn't start, so Fred helped push it out of town. A double-decker blocked the lane, tourists wondered every way. Fred just laughed and shook his head. London, not today! He turned the corner to his street just as the sun had shone. Then overhead he heard the buzz.
It's the doobie drone.
Across the channel, over fields, past the ferries, through the breeze. Neighbors pointed to the sky, wondering what they'd see. Amazon? No. Royal Mail? No. It's the doobie drone. Here comes the doobie drone, saving friends with style. Flying halfway across the world just to make friends smile. When good friends look after friends, you're never all alone. Raise your voice and sing along. Long live the doobie drone. Bye, blimey. That's better than next day delivery.
Mamdani said in an interview this week that he was open to being the poster child for socialist candidates. Are you worried about more socialist candidates across the United States?
I think it's a big threat to our nation, actually, because it's not socialism, it's really communism. They use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about. I think it's the biggest threat to our nation there is, maybe since our founding. That includes World War I, World War II, September 11th. It includes the Pearl Harbor attack. I think this is the biggest threat to our nation. People will smile when I say that, but the smart people are going to say, you know, he's probably right. It's basically introducing communism into the United States of America. There's never been anything so dangerous.
Mamdani said,
and that goes back many generations. Yep. So Trump says, big win. The United States Supreme Court just ruled against men playing in women's sports. Wow. That takes the ridiculous situation off the table. President Donald J. Trump. Yep. And then we got Tim Burchett.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett. The rule, as they say, was taken down on the NDAA for three reasons. The first was we want disclosure on UAP, UFO issue. We were told we were going to get it on this bill, and they didn't put it in there, and they gave all kinds of the sewer of the deep state, wouldn't allow it. The second was, let's see, the second, of course, was the Save America Act. And they'll say, well, it's already in there. Well, if it's already in there, then why are they worried about us putting an amendment on to make sure it's in there? There's a bunch of other reasons as well that go along with that. So anyway, we've now leadership will go explain for 15 or 20 minutes of how stupid and backwards we are. But America wants to see these things, and we need to make sure it happens. And this is our only avenue as conservatives to do just that. So we shall see. Thank y'all for sending me here.
All right, Tim Burchett. All right, let's get up here and let's get into my feed. Good morning, by the way, everybody. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today, people ask me all the time if justice is ever coming. And a lot of times my answer has to be, simply like this, don't stop demanding truth just because it takes time. It's we know time is not not always our friend, but at the same time is our friend. Real accountability and real justice depends upon things like evidence, the courage of the people to stand up. Whether it be the district attorney's office, state's attorney's office, U.S. state's attorney's office, the DOJ, and even we the people. Sometimes the guilty are exposed pretty quick. We get lucky sometimes. Sometimes it takes decades. And sometimes we kind of just have to let history finish the story. We can't always control everything, no matter how much we try. This is God's story. We just happen to be in it. That's basically where it goes. But, as for our institutions and the higher courts, they're made up of human beings. And the problem is humans can get things gloriously right or tragically wrong. All right. And that's why we hold everybody accountable under the law. That's the big thing, under the law. And why we never stop seeking truth, period. We just gotta keep moving, right? So, today's question, it isn't about Democrats, isn't about Republicans. It's not about left or right. It's about something a lot bigger. All right. When the Supreme Court hands down a decision that millions of Americans either celebrate or strongly disagree with, what happens next? Okay. Is that the end of the conversation, or is there still room for accountability? Okay. And when we're talking about things like birthright citizenship, there's going to need to be some accountability. So today we're going to end up talking a lot about that and about how the accountability works in America. And a lot of that's got to do with whether it's through the Constitution, through Congress, through our own states, through elections, or through the most important element of our country, we the people. All right. But we got to ask ourselves a deeper question. All right. What do we do when we believe that the institution has gotten something wrong? Okay. And how do we seek justice without abandoning the truth, due process, or the rule of law? All right. So they've taken this 14th Amendment and they've perverted it in many ways. And they're not reading it for what it was about. Back when the 14th Amendment was written, it was written so that the children of slaves would be guaranteed the same rights as every other American citizen. Okay? It wasn't about these people who come here and have anchor babies. Okay? It wasn't, And it's just so how do we do that? How do we do that? And it's a conversation we kind of have to have. We can't always depend on it to be forthcoming with answers right away. Yeah. So we'll go from there. All right, Rapid Response 47 put out Donald Trump's post. The biggest and most consequential decision issued by the court by far is the slaughter case, which overturned the very famous Humphreys executor rule. All right, this whole concept of power has been fought for nearly 100 years, going all the way back to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, where a large slice of his power was taken away. He fought to regain it, even wanting to pack the court, but was unsuccessful in doing so. This decision gives tremendous additional power back to the presidency where it belongs. It is an honor to be the sitting president who, after all these years, won this very important and hard-fought case. We had other good victories too, and we also had the birthright citizenship loss, which we will work to correct in Congress. But the big slaughter was slaughter. The Republican Party was treated very fairly by the United States Supreme Court. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And we'll go into why that's important, here in just a little bit. The slaughter case, and you'll understand what that's about. All right. Then we got Stephen Miller talking about the temporary Haitian.
Well, so first of all, there you see that throwback from Janet Napolitano, who said there's an earthquake in Haiti, which, by the way, is total BS that we have TPS for earthquakes. But put that aside. There's an earthquake in Haiti, so she's announcing TPS for a few months while they're recovering from an earthquake. That was in 2010, 15 years ago. Then the Biden administration, in its last year, extends TPS to every single illegal alien from Haiti while they are flying them en masse into Springfield, Ohio, across the Midwest. It was a formal policy of replacing the communities that lived in, settled, and sustained these communities for generations. It was one of the most heinous things this government has ever done. And yes, under President Trump, let me be very clear. The illegal alien Haitians are going back to Haiti. They can build their country there.
Stephen Miller is so right when he says that this is one of the most heinous things the government has ever done, importing this many Haitians into Springfield, Ohio in particular. Let's just take a look at all the stuff that they actually did in Ohio. So this woman right here, her friend is in pest control and walked into an illegal Haitian apartment that had dead dog skins hanging inside the apartment. The illegal Haitian migrants walk around the parks with machetes. She personally knows people that were kicked out of their homes for the Haitians that were giving housing vouchers. Go down again. We have this guy who is sitting here. The Haitians have taken over. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're taking our geese from the parks. This guy is in Springfield, Ohio. Here's Springfield, Ohio. They're kicking Americans out of their homes and giving them to the illegal migrants. Another woman from Springfield, Ohio. Haitians are cutting up what appears to be dog in their backyards. This is a woman who's speaking at their council meeting. Let's go down here. The Haitians are getting into so many car accidents that all the Americans are having their car insurance rates risen. American citizens are being evicted from their homes so that the illegal Haitians can get access to those homes. The illegal Haitians are being given driver's license despite not speaking English and just getting here. It goes on and on and on. People from the Biden admin should be arrested and thrown in prison.
Yeah. And that was Wall Street Babes who put that up. All right. And then we got the Remigration Act. And Andy Ogles is putting this forward with a couple other representatives.
So I've got a bill. It's called Remigration. Close friends with Stephen Miller, the White House, working with the White House on these issues. But when you have someone like Mamdani who lied on his N-400, his immigration form, we should be able to denaturalize and deport him now, right away, right? And so until we take that seriously, so my remigration bill clarifies, it takes it out of the DOJ, the Department of Justice, which is a criminal process, and moves it over to Immigration and Customs and makes it administrative, where we literally could be denaturalizing tens of thousands of people per day, per city. That's how you get rid of all these illegals. That's how we take our country back. And that's how we send the message that we're serious about immigration. So I've got.
All right. Real quick, I just want to address this here comment. It says, "Dang, Jehovah's are at the door. Now they come downstairs and knock. I gotta get a fence soon." Well, I can tell you how to stop them from coming to your house ever again. Would you like to know how? Would you like to know how? I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Okay. And I guarantee that this is foolproof, that it will work, and they will never, ever, ever come to your door again. Number one, in one hand, you hold a joint. In the other hand, you hold a beer. And you answer the door naked as a jaybird. Okay? But what really clinches it is if you turn if you turn around and say, "Come on in," and you walk away showing your butt, and say, "Come on in," I guarantee that they will never ever come to your door again. Prove me wrong. Yeah. That used to be like one of my favorite memes on up on X or on Facebook or any place else, was "prove me wrong." Yeah, it's I'm telling you, it's you want your privacy back, you got to take it sometimes. It's yes, naked as jaybird. Yeah. All right. Secretary of the DHS, Mark Mullins, here we go.
All right, there's a lot of talk about this court ruling for TPS. What is TPS? Temporary protective status. Let me emphasize.
And you notice there, the only person who didn't make a comment. Now, I do want to point out that that's the reason that I put the chat up on the screen for you guys, so that you guys can actually communicate cross-platform. You're able to say hi to people on Rumble. You're able to say hi to people on X or Facebook or whatever, and vice versa. And that's the reason that I started putting that up there. I know it makes the screen a little bit busy, but it gives everybody the opportunity to see the chats from all the platforms and stuff. So, but yeah, Lincoln, I just noticed that it took you a little while to respond to that comment, and I'm beginning to wonder, are you plotting and planning now? Okay, yeah. Inquiring minds want to know.
All right, there's a lot of talk about this court ruling for TPS. What is TPS? Temporary protective status. Let me emphasize on that first word, temporary. Now, there's a lot of talk going on because why the Supreme Court just recently ruled that President Trump can end TPS for a certain group of individuals. Temporary meant temporary. There's two options now if you fall underneath the category that the court just ruled on. You can self-deport. We will buy you an airline ticket and give you $2,600 to go back to either the country you go to or a country you choose that will accept you. Or we'll come find you. And if you think you're going to just wait out the Trump administration, it's not going to work. We will find you and we will deport you. Do yourself a favor. Go on to DHS's website and say, "I want to self-deport." And we will immediately start working on your case, provide you with the money, provide you with airline ticket, and send you on your way. All right, there's
no problem. Yep, we'll help you. All right, I think I made the chat bigger on the screen, so that should help a little bit. But yeah, it just allows you to be able to talk between platforms. All right, HHS put this out. This is the HHS rapid response. I meant to hit follow on that this morning when I found this. And let's go ahead.
KG was read as normal. The kid was dead a month later.
Federal officials say Caden Francis got caught up in a scheme where medical providers pushed heart tests on student athletes. They say Caden had a dangerously enlarged heart. but alleged doctors glossed over the evidence.
The defendant allegedly signed off on the test results within approximately 11 seconds of accessing the 63 test result images.
Prosecutors say Caden was cleared to play, but weeks later, the teenager suffered sudden cardiac arrest and died on the basketball court. This is all part of an announcement today that Justice Department officials claim is the greatest combined federal and state effort in combating healthcare fraud in history. Over the past 2 weeks, federal and state prosecutors have charged more than 450 defendants in healthcare fraud schemes involving $6.5 billion in false Medicare and Medicaid claims.
These schemes did not target government programs. They targeted the American taxpayer. They stole money from workers who pay taxes, from families who depend on Medicare and Medicaid.
In one instance, prosecutors allege a hospice provider in Los Angeles obtained personal information of people who had recently died from a funeral home employee to bill Medicare for hospice care they'd never received. The Justice Department says the government seized more than $182 million in cash, and that these alleged fraudsters bought a yacht, a Bentley, an $865,000 necklace, multiple multi-million-dollar homes, and a beach resort in the Philippines. Secretary Kennedy says his agency is deploying artificial intelligence and data analytics to identify fraudulent billing patterns and stop improper reimbursements before the government pays them out.
Yeah. So, tracking down the money. So it's it's a cross between stuff. So Buzz Patterson put this up 2 nights ago. The Iraqi government raided Iran loyal politicians in a fraud sting. They found billions in U.S. dollars, and that actually happened on Saturday and Sunday. But they found a shitload of money. They tore up the walls. That's all U.S. dollars. It's all stacked U.S. dollars. And they're going to go into this wall and they're going to find even more of it. And this is all money. There we go. There's a big old safe there. Yeah, I'm just going to let this play. I'll turn off the sound, though. We don't need to hear it because they're going to be talking in another language. I know the video quality kind of sucks, but everything that they found was U.S. currency. And they're going to track the bills, and I believe that those bills will come back as being when Obama sent the pallets of cash to Iran. So these are Iranian places in Iraq. Okay. This was how they were keeping the dinar going. So now the dinar it's now being there is now a demand for the dinar to be reevaluated. So this will be, but yeah, they got bundle upon bundles upon bundle. It takes 2 guys to carry them out. That's all U.S. dollars right there. $100 bills. Crazy, huh? That's our money. That's our money. All right. Let's keep moving along. Scott Percent.
We've got a chart of how quickly the prices went up and how they followed crude, and we're going to hold them accountable on the other side. President Trump talked about it the past week. He had a very powerful Truth Social yesterday. So I would encourage all the gasoline retailers. Some of them are owned by big oil. Some are independent. Some are international convenience chains. I would encourage them to be good actors, especially in the 250th anniversary, because we're watching. we've got a chart of how quickly the prices went up and how they fall.
So right now, with the price of oil where it's at right around $60 a barrel, the price for gasoline in the United States should be somewhere between $2.50 to $2.75 a gallon. Now, if the prices continue to fall for the barrel, like is expected, we should see around $45 to $48 per barrel by the end of this week. And then that sets our gas, our price for gas should be around $2.25 to $2.35 a gallon. So we're gonna see what happens here, because Trump said he's calling an investigation in regards to the price gouging of the oil companies and the gas stations. So so keep an eye on it, because I think it's going to have a major factor. This is a second one from Tim, and this one here I thought was kind of important.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Two bills on the floor tonight. One was reauthorization of a terrorist insurance program. It's going to save about $1 billion. Reduce the deficit by $1 billion. The other one's the Kids Act. Sounds great. It's supposed to strengthen all this stuff on online protection for kids. But guess who wrote it? Big tech. And guess what? They eliminated themselves from any liability. And guess what else? The state of Tennessee has some really tough laws because we've got a great legislature, and so they can't make laws tougher than what we just implemented. It takes away some parental rights. Anyway, I voted no. Of course, it passed, but it probably won't even be brought up in the Senate. Anyway, thank y'all so much for sending me here. Hey everybody.
I noticed that he put in there at the end of that, he says it probably won't even get heard in the Senate. So it's like a lot of this stuff that they're doing is basically for show. Okay. It's coming up on election season, and people are putting in bills left and right in order to monopolize the time. Because if all these bills are out there, then the Senate is going to be tied up with going through all these bills. And won't be voting on anything. So it's basically they're doing everything that they can for avoidance all the way up until the midterm elections. And then if they lose, then what kind of damage are they going to do on their way out?
A big fight here in Texas between Governor Greg Abbott and the Muslim community after he designated the largest Muslim advocacy group as a foreign terrorist organization. So in North Texas, a Muslim community leader, Marwan Maroof here, is soon going to be deported. He's been in ICE custody since September, and then just last week, an immigration judge issued him a final order of removal. Now, according to DHS, Maroof is from Jordan and overstayed his visa. They shared, quote, Maroof was denied a lawful permanent resident visa due to his involvement with a foundation that provided material support for Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist organization. The Council of American Islamic Relations, known as CARE, has been fighting for Maroof's release, describing him as a pillar of the community. Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott responded to this on X. He said, quote, this is another example of CARE Texas's support for Hamas and terror. Abbott designated the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE as foreign terrorist organizations.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens with this, because I think that it is going to create some real crazy. So Expree says, here's the truth. AOC is so full of crap that one single Google search exposes the whole lie. She's lying to scare people again. Neither Elon nor Doge can directly cut Social Security or Medicare benefits. That's a Congress's job. AOC is literally in Congress. She knows this well. So she tells her followers that Elon gutted Medicaid or Medicare and Social Security to pay for his own tax cuts. Is it true or false? A representative, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, claim is misleading and lacks factual evidence in several key areas. Fact-checking organizations and Social Security experts have widely debunked or clarified that the individual components of this political rhetoric did Musk gut Medicare or Social Security false. Neither Elon nor the Department of Government Efficiency has the legislative authority to directly gut, or eliminate entitlement programs. Cutting these programs requires an act of Congress. So, and here's where she says,
we don't quote unquote have the money for a better and improved social safety net because we let assholes like Elon Musk gut Medicaid and gut Social Security in order for him to pay for his own tax cuts and B, his own $1 billion in private federal contracts. This guy takes billions and billions of your tax dollars, of your public funds. They are robbing us of the tiny slivers of what we have left in our collective public social safety net. We don't quote unquote have the money for.
Well, the thing is that the Democrats have been stealing our money. They've been stealing our Social Security and Medicaid money for years and years and years. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Elizabeth Warren and her cronies must be stopped. Elizabeth Warren is looking for a scapegoat. That scapegoat is private investment. Think about how dangerous this is. If investors believe they could become the next target of politicians looking for headlines, they'll stop investing. Capital will dry up, expansion projects stop, facilities deteriorate, services disappear, and again, hospitals will close. And that's the end game. It's what Warren wants. So government can ultimately take over it all. It's always more government with her. More power concentrated in Washington. Make no mistake, this bill isn't about protecting patients. It's about expanding government power and using the threat of arrest to do it. It is tyrannical, really.
Yeah. So, all of these things,
Did you vote for AOC?
Yes.
What is one thing that AOC has done that you like?
I don't know that I could. I don't pay attention to those particular details, but I can't. I don't know that I can think of something. I'm sorry.
Did you vote for AOC?
Yes.
All right. What is one thing that she's done that you really like?
I don't remember anymore.
What has she done for your district?
I think for instance, she helped bring 30,000 books to school kids within the district.
Has she done anything during her time in Congress that has made your life better?
No.
She looks like she might be running for president one day. Would you want to see AOC run for president?
I'm not sure.
Would you vote for her for president?
If depending on what the field looks like, maybe. Yeah, I think she's very smart. I think she's well educated. She's very articulate. I think I really like what she stands for.
I did like her spirit. I did like that she was out there talking to people and greeting people on voting day. So I was coming off the subway and there she was.
Do you think spirit and greeting people is enough of a qualification to be president?
It's a start.
Would you want to see her run for president one day?
No comment.
Yeah. Doesn't want to get into it with his neighbors. Yeah. Let's go ahead, go back over here. All right. And AOC puppet is just flat out lying. Elon Musk said that. Yep. All right. Brendan Dilley put this review of Citizen Vigilante out, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I wanted to share it with you guys. A few thoughts on Citizen Vigilante. When culture begins fantasizing about political outcomes in a way this film does, it's a massive red flag that society is sick of the tyranny. Think powder keg. Think of the what was it? The gunpowder gunpowder conspiracy was I believe it was in the 1700s or 1600s over there in Europe. All right. The script is simple, easy to follow, and truly reflects the experience many are suffering through. Well acted, well directed, obvious small budget, but well executed. It might be the first of its kind, but will not be the last if things do not start turning around fast. Unapologetically honest and gritty, uncomfortably satisfying given the premise and the extreme violence. Conclusion: the people responsible for implementing the destabilization of Western culture should be terrified of what this film and its success is signaling. You're running out of time to course correct before people reach their breaking point. 8 to 10 would watch it again. And I watched the clips on that, and it's pretty Johnny on the spot there. So, Gene Robinson put this one up. Here we go.
Americans aren't playing, folks. We see what you're doing. And do you really believe that you and your sword scares us?
Whoa, what's going on? I hear some moves. From Dearborn to New York, only one nation, under God.
Exquisite! When a man stands in an American neighborhood with a sword, shouting declarations tied to a foreign god, flashing markings on his fist that point to an ideology of conquest, understand that's not culture, folks. This is not an immigrant seeking opportunity in America. That's a man telling Christian America, we are here to reshape your land. So let me speak plainly to every believer, every patriot, and every man, woman, and child who knows this nation's foundation rests on the Lord God and nothing else. These people did not come here to assimilate. Dearborn is not full of Americans. It's full of some different country that wants to take over America.
الحرب من النساء هم مثلهم، بمعنى إن عشان أذلهم بيصبحوا ملكا للقائد أو للجيش أو للمسلم، يستمتع بيهم كما يستمتع بزوجته.
They did not come here to honor our God, the only God, Jesus Christ. They came here to embrace the life that they left, not the American life. As a matter of fact, you are getting in their way of conquest. They actually came here carrying the worldview of the land they fled. And now they want to plant that worldview on our soil, under our laws, and in our neighborhoods, with boldness that grows by the day. I literally watched someone bend down and pray on a busy street in the center of the street.
E5'in ortasından namaz kılıyor amcam. Allah kabul etsin yeğenim. Tamam, memleketin geldi ya.
They didn't mind the 3,000, 4,000 pound cars driving at 30 miles an hour. They were defiant. Look at Dearborn. Look at Irving, Texas. Look at the cities across this country where birthright citizenship has turned temporary visitors into permanent political blocks, like the Somalians, raising generation after generation with the same ideology that governs the land that they left, the cesspool, the sugar honey iced tea hole that they left. And now they dare to step onto American streets with swords, symbols, and chants of supremacy, as if this nation was built for them to conquer? Hear me clearly. America is a Christian nation, built on the God of Scripture, built on the blood of men who stood upright before the Almighty and refused to kneel to tyranny. We will not bend our knee to imported ideology. We will not surrender our streets to men who despise our faith, and we will not let foreign doctrines dictate the destiny of the United States of America. Christian America does not cower. Christian America does not hide. Christian America stands with the fortitude that the Almighty gave her. We will not die on our knees. We will die on our feet. You know, they keep saying CW is coming. CW is coming. A CW is coming. But with the courage of our fathers, that same courage they carried, with the conviction of our faith, the one our faith commands, and with the certainty that the Lord alone is God over this soil, you bring swords into our neighborhood. We bring the truth. You bring intimidation. We bring resolve. Americans aren't playing, folks. We see what you're doing. And do you really believe that you and your sword scares us? You are aware that illegal immigrants cannot buy, own, or possess firearms in the United States under federal law. And yet, I watched this man walk up to two soldiers and empty the clip in them. How is that happening, America? How are these people ending up with our guns? So I did a little investigating, and it turns out we have some traitors. In addition to the seditious six, we have traitors that do something called a straw purchase. A person with legal status, an American citizen, that buys guns and hands it off to them. Their friends, their girlfriends, relatives, or criminal associates. They just walk into shops, pass the background check, and then deliver the weapon into the hands of the enemy. We need to root out and find every traitor. 9 times out of 10, they're Democrats, they're liberals. They're the ones that cause all the problems, and then act as though they have a solution to the problem they caused.
Yeah, better than you. Look.
Listen, dude, I'm just better than you. It's just a fact. I'm a Christian American fan.
Better than you. Face.
I'm just better than you. I don't care where you're from.
Better than you. Look. I'm better than you. That's your friend.
And the farmers are going to clean everything up. We're going to grow really natural, healthy products.
President Trump this week signed an executive order ordering my agency, HHS, EPA, and the NUSDA to scale regenerative farming in this country. We have the 4 best regenerative farmers in the country in the Oval Office. They alone have converted tens of millions of acres to regenerative farming. It improves yields. It improves profitability per acre of their farms. It opens up foreign markets to their product. It preserves their soils. And we only have 60 harvests left at the rate that we're going because the pesticides and the herbicides destroy the soils. It produces much higher density of micronutrients in the food. And it keeps the farmers safe. Right now, the highest cancer rate in the world is in Iowa.
Wow.
Farmers understand the connection between spraying toxic chemicals on their crops and their own personal health. And, you know, this candidate, Zach Lane, won the Republican primary. He came from nowhere. He's a farmer, and he was campaigning on this issue. So the farmers also are supporting us.
Very good. And you're going to leave the raccoons alone?
Yeah, moment.
For the moment. All right.
The quakes leaving some hospitals damaged. Dylan Johnson is the Assistant Secretary of State for Global Public Affairs. Really appreciate your joining us this morning. So based on what you know, how do you access the current situation on the ground in Venezuela? What are you looking at right now?
Yeah, well, good morning, and thanks for having me. You know, look, we're really pleased with how our response has been so far. This is the largest humanitarian assistance response from the U.S. government in about 3 decades. And in the moment this tragedy happened, the Secretary Rubio was very clear that he wanted to see a response that was big, that was fast, and that was effective. And that's exactly what we're delivering This is an effort that's coordinated in large part by the State Department, but none of it would be possible without the help of our interagency partners from Department of War, Southcom, the U.S. Treasury, of course, our task force teams. Those are those 300 search and rescue operators that are on the ground doing heroic work. A lot of those scenes have come out over the previous days of the incredible work they're doing to pull people to safety out of the rubble. Our NGO partners like the Global Empowerment Missions and Samaritan's Purse, and of course, the full leverage of American industry. Yesterday, the department announced a partnership with Walmart, a great American company, to help deliver privately donated medical supplies to the people of Venezuela. So we're here for the long haul. There's a long road ahead, but this has been the quickest response of the U.S. government and the largest scale of response in modern time. And we're, hopeful that we're going to continue to do this great work.
When disasters strike, you always see Americans and organizations, jump into action. We were speaking to somebody yesterday who said that they have a large organization and they're trying to get in there to help with medical supplies, medical needs. How difficult is that, though, when you have a situation like this, to get planes in, to get supplies in?
Yeah, that's a great point. In these situations, the first thing we want to do is we want to surge our, emergency personnel and get our people on the ground to help offering that emergency medical service and the search and rescue operations. The second part is the logistics. And so when we came onto the scene, the airport in Caracas, both runways and the tower had been collapsed and damaged. It was Southcom that rebuilt those in a matter of a day or two. And now we have planes arriving every single hour with emergency medicines, with critical supplies and equipment that we need to do this great work. Obviously the port has been damaged, and we have the USS Fort Lauderdale and a specialized team of U.S. Marines that are there fixing that and opening up new pathways to deliver critical medicines and machinery in to help with the recovery. But it's been an ongoing process, but we've been able to respond very quickly. We've already, in the course of 4 days, we've established 4 field hospitals. There's more coming online today. And these are very sophisticated operations. We have the ability to do the equivalent of a level 1 trauma center, very advanced surgical capabilities for people on the ground. And it's been ongoing, but we're committed to continuing.
All right. Well, thank you for taking a break in your day to talk to us. Dylan Johnson, thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where we're about to get another Prime Minister. Yes, that's right, Andy Burnham this time. He'll be elected with just 7,000 votes. Yes, that's right, just 7,000 votes from a local constituency. But here in the UK, Prime Ministers are just like illegals. There'll be another one along in any moment. He is going to be the first Prime Minister to work from home because he can't be asked to go into London. He's going to set up Number 10 North. Expect to see a lot of him on Zoom meetings, dressed only in a casual black t-shirt, nothing on from the waist down, except for perhaps a merkin and odious amounts of body hair covering his thick cankles. In other news, the King is a traitor to this country. He has got rid of his role 500 years in the making as head of the Church of England and defender of the faith, and now is going to be defender of all faiths in a multi-faith nation. That is not how it works. See America for details. Faith and family and freedom. One nation under God. 2A all the way, as a by the way. And finally, my darlings, Shabana Mahmood announces that she's going to give 350 quid to you if you'll take in an illegal into your home. So I say to all the fat white women who protest my venues outside with signs that say, refugees welcome, say it loud, say it clear, refugees are welcome here. Now is your chance, my darlings, to share your mummy and daddy's spare bedroom with an illegal. You can have your own little pet jihadi. I look forward to you doing that very soon indeed. That's it, my darlings. Batshit bonkers Britain.
Accept. I think it's very bad for our nation. We're the only nation that does it. No other nation does that birthright citizenship. No, not even close. Some did it, they ended it. It's tremendously destructive. It's extremely costly. I don't know, it's up to them. But in terms of for the good of the country, it'd be great if they didn't allow it. It would be great, but I can't tell you. The Slaughter case was the big case today. That was really a big case because it gave strength to presidents and strength to the presidency, a very important case. It's been going on for almost 100 years, think of that. And this was the ruling that really topped everything by a lot today, yeah.
Mr. President, Zohran Mamdani said in an interview this week that he
But I would encourage everyone with a child 18 or under to open the accounts because many corporations, we've got over 80 corporations that are going to put money into Trump accounts. We've got great philanthropists like Susan and Michael Dell. They're putting $6.25 billion for the young people who live in zip codes in the bottom 80% of the income brackets. That's about $250 per account right there. And then we've got other people. Harold Hamm has adopted Oklahoma. Ray Dalio and his foundation have adopted Connecticut. So, and we think that up to 20 states may also contribute to these Trump accounts. This is a game changer. 38% of American households do not own equities. And our goal is to push this out to teach financial literacy and to bring everyone into the American dream.
There'll be a meeting on that tomorrow in Doha, and they're going to Qatar. I think they've already left, or they're just about.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, hopefully you read along. I muted. I had to cough, and I didn't want to do it on the thing. So I don't know how long I was gone. So we'll just go on. We'll just keep moving along. And I'm just like, all right. So this is Trump on Iran. And this is going on today. So this was issued last night.
There'll be a meeting on that tomorrow in Doha, and They're going to Qatar. I think they've already left, or they're just about getting ready to leave. So we'll see how that goes. But we're doing very well on that front. But the meeting in Doha is going to be perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. But we're winning militarily. It's almost won militarily, I would say. And it's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that, in all fairness.
So that was a statement he put out last night. This here, George Washington's first command. I thought this was interesting. Here we go.
Those are his general orders given to the military. And he's like, guys, what's more important than you being a patriot is you being a Christian. Jeez, man. And again, like, this is what's crazy. Nobody even disputes this. Yeah. So this is the very first order Washington gives as commander of the military. This is his very first general order.
The first ever.
The very first one. Okay. And notice how it starts.
If he's a deist, he's real bad at it.
Right.
He's real bad at it.
Make sure you go to church, guys. Yeah. But we can't afford to curse. We can't afford to get drunk. Anything that might offend God, we can't afford to do, because we have to have God's help or we're not going to succeed. Just read some of that general order for us.
The commander-in-chief directs that divine service, so church services, be performed every Sunday at 11 o'clock in those brigades to which there are chaplains, those which have none to attend the places of worship nearest to them.
Hang on. So those who have none, if you don't have a chaplain, then you attend the closest place that has a chaplain.
It is expected that officers of all ranks will, by their attendance, set an example to their men. Dude, this is amazing. He's saying if you're going to be an officer in the, well, I guess it wasn't the United States Army at that time.
It was Continental Army.
Continental Army. He's going, you got to go to church.
Yes.
You got to go to church.
Oh, it gets better.
Okay. While we are zealously performing the duties of good citizens and soldiers, we certainly ought not to be inattentive to the higher duties of religion. This is amazing. Okay. To the distinguished character of patriot, it should be our highest glory to add the more distinguished character of Christian. Fascinating.
Okay. What is more important than George Washington than being a patriot?
A Christian.
Being a Christian.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yep. So he established a Christian army. Not just any kind of army, but a Christian army. Hence came the song, Onward, Christian Soldiers, Marching on to War, with the cross of Jesus. Right? Yeah, just saying. So, and I just bypassed that Elizabeth Warren because I'm just really tired of hearing her voice. Brandon Gill had this to say.
We are so back, aren't we? And you know what that means? That means that we are finally going to take our country back, aren't we? That means that we are sending a fighter from Texas to Washington, somebody who's going to stand up for our values, aren't we? Somebody who's going to fight to keep the border secure, to deport illegal aliens, and yes, to get the Save America Act passed. Because it's not good enough anymore in Washington to just say the right things. We need somebody who's going to do the right things. And that person is Senator Ken Paxton. It's been a long road to get here.
Yeah. So he's out there stumping for Ken Paxton. Hopefully we'll see something out of that. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to show you the one from the State Department in regards to Venezuela, because outrage is growing in Venezuela after a video surfaced appearing to show the regime's feared Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello preventing members of U.S. rescue delegation from assisting Venezuelans. All right. And Laura Logan says, this should not surprise anyone. Diosdado is already well known across Venezuela and is not for being a man of the people. This guy was a Maduro dude all along. So now on the temporary protective status of these Haitians, this was the press release from January of 2010. This is 2010, okay?
Lastly, as has been widely reported yesterday, I signed the order beginning or for the process of TPS status for Haitians already in the United States. This is a kind of an intermediate immigration status that allows those who are here to remain and to work. And as they work, of course, many send remittances back home. This in and of itself is a form of support to Haiti and a form of economic assistance to Haiti. To qualify, you must have been in the United States before January the 12th, the date of the earthquake. It will be good for 18 months from the date of the issuance, so that will be in July of 2011. So for Haitians in the country who were here before the earthquake, we are now opening up the process of TPS, that intermediate immigration status for you.
So July of 2011, all of the Haitians should have gone back to their country. That was the end of their temporary protection status. Okay. Here we are 16 years later, and they're still fucking here. Just saying. So, and then this is going on in America. Jihad in America, May 29, 2020, and people don't even know, a lot of people don't even know about this. Temple Terrace, Florida, a Muslim woman in a hijab lures a police officer outside City Hall, then pulls a knife on him and attacks him. Her brother has just been arrested by the FBI for planning an ISIS massacre in Tampa. Investigators found a note torn to pieces in her trash. When they put it back together, it read, "I want to do jihad and I must attack the police." This was not grief. This was jihad. Her brother was a U.S. citizen who grew up in California, served time in Saudi terrorism prison, and was sent right back to America. No real vetting, no real consequences, just a passport and a plan. How many more are already here? And this is the video of it.
Look, a City Hall camera positioned outside captures the moment Hiba al-Azhari lunges at an officer armed with a butcher knife. He swerves out of the way. The confrontation continues off camera.
I mean, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, this video is worth 10,000.
Police Chief Kenneth Albano says this video is critical, proving why that officer felt threatened.
I hope everybody will watch this video and see that a knife this big being swung at you thusly, and the officer repeatedly saying, drop the knife, and retreat.
Look, a City Hall camera positioned outside captures the moment Hiba...
Yep. So, you know, this is the thing, is this shit's caught on camera, yet nobody wants to fucking believe it. It's just, I'm tired of hearing about how they're good. They're good for our nation. They're good for our country. Bullshit. Bullshit. What's that little kid say in the back seat? He said, bullshit. That's what he said. He said, bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah. All right. We've already talked about that one. We've already talked about that. And then
retired from the Plano Police Department after 26 years of full-time law enforcement service, and I dealt with representatives of EPIC many times when I was the sergeant for the Plano Police Department, the training sergeant for the Plano PD. There seems to be a general misunderstanding that we're talking about a plan to build an Islamic Sharia-friendly community. The EPIC neighborhood already exists in Plano. It's been there for nearly 12 years, with 74 residential properties, a massive mosque, schools, a medical clinic, and multiple businesses. It also has an office of an Islamic financing institution called the UIF Corporation. The UIF Corporation is not a bank. It's a Michigan-based corporation whose publicly stated purpose is to, quote, engage in financial transactions that are Sharia compliant, end quote. Those are their words, not mine. The local government officials south of here have known for years that only Muslims can purchase homes inside that neighborhood. You have to be a member of their mosque to live there. The first house built in that neighborhood was built right next to the Plano Police Academy. It's a huge structure with two separate front doors. The rear of the property is just a few feet from a large outdoor warning siren. The house has a large second-story platform overlooking the restricted access parking lot where the police department stored specialized vehicles such as bomb trucks, bomb disposal equipment, and the SWAT team's armored vehicle. I am a court-recognized expert in SWAT team tactics and procedures. That house has all the hallmarks of a fortress and a command post. The rear of the house looks a lot like an observation post and a shooting platform. Why would somebody choose to build a house so close to a giant warning siren and a police training site? Why would someone build a huge platform overlooking all those specialized police emergency vehicles? The first owner of that house is a leader in the Epic neighborhood, and he is also the co-founder of the Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research. And I urge everyone to visit their website and read what it has to say about instituting Sharia law. This is not a matter of radicals hiding in plain sight. They're not hiding. They've been open about their beliefs and their intent. Local government decision makers have failed to ask hard questions for fear of negative publicity and being labeled as bigots. I'm not here to spread innuendo or to make unfounded accusations. I'm asking everyone to simply look at the evidence and the confirmed facts that are already in existence. Thank you for your time, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Yeah, and that's how you do it. You approach them and you give it to them. Facts, facts, facts. Here's Trump on the parliamentarian.
The parliamentarian? What were you asking about?
Yeah, have you talked with Thune about?
I have. No, I can't imagine why you'd keep a woman that was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. I cannot understand it. The leader has the right to fire the person at will and put somebody else there. That would be, because we get so many negative rulings from her, the parliamentarian. She's been there for years, and she was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. Harry Reid was a bad guy, and he was the leader, and he put her. And the speaker has the right to immediately fire her and put somebody else there. And it's not even believable that she's still there. She's obviously a good politician. Or
Yep. So he's saying John Thune could fire that parliamentarian at any time and replace her. Yep. You know, so all right. I think that's about it on this. Let me go through here. I just want to check to see if there was here we go.
Mr. President, this is a presidential memo to the Environmental Protection Agency, a presidential memo supporting the freedom to fix. Americans have the freedom to fix their vehicle. President Trump insists upon it. We are not going to be going after people who are fixing their own vehicle like past administrations have. Additionally, we've been concerned, President Trump has been concerned about aftermarket parts, cheap knockoff aftermarket parts coming into the United States, harming small businesses, harming Americans. This presidential memo puts an end to it. Also, the only third-party certification for these aftermarket parts is CARB in California, a process that's backlogged and faulty. So we're going to break that monopoly, and no longer will CARB be the only third-party certifier for these aftermarket parts. Again, President Trump is insisting on fixing it. This presidential memo does that. President Trump was calling me up on a Saturday night when this idea first came to his head, and he says he wants to do a press conference right away to get this over the top. In February 2nd, we signed a right to repair for our farmers so that they can repair their tractors and their non-road equipment, and this is covering everyone else.
I mean, think about it. It came to my attention because I noticed they were arresting people for fixing their car. They were arresting people for fixing it. That's not even believable. Anyway, so it's right to fix, and I think it's really common sense. If somebody wants to fix, some of these people are better mechanics than the mechanics in the shop. They're telling the mechanic in the shop how to fix their car or their truck. We signed the truck one a little while ago. So I'm going to sign this and I'll be happy about it. We rule by common sense to a large extent. All right, Lee, good job. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Yep. So we'll go back to the days where we can fix our cars. And then John Rich had this to say.
Hey folks, it's John Rich here. Recently, President Trump gave me a position called Special Envoy to American Landowners. And over the past few weeks, as I've been conducting this job, I ran across a really interesting story in Arizona. And not a good story, not good interesting. It involves a man named Robert Young. Mr. Young is 89 years old, and he owns a home that's 126 years old. It's a historic home. He's owned it since 1975, so over 50 years now. And I saw the story from a local news outlet in Phoenix that he was in a fight with Arizona State University. And I said, how in the world is an 89-year-old man in a court battle in a fight with Arizona State University? So as I dug in deeper, I learned that Arizona State University is building out this huge new facility, and that the home Mr. Young owns is sitting somewhat on the perimeter of where this is going to go. And they are wanting to either move his house somewhere else or just tear it down completely and use this space for green space. Now, I thought, wait a minute, they're going to go to court and fight an 89-year-old man, shove him around so they can create green space? What is that, picnic tables and a sidewalk? I don't even know what that means other than it's outside. And sure enough, that's the case. So I reached out to Mr. Young myself, spoke to him for 45 minutes last week. This guy is sharp. I'm talking, he was rattling off these facts. He had the maps, the plans, the court proceedings all down to a T. And I said, sir, what is it you would like me to do to try to help you? He said, I want America to know the fight that I'm in trying to save the home I've owned since 1975. I don't think it's right. He said, John, I'm not a victim. That's not the way I look at things. But in this particular case, I am being victimized by Arizona State University, and I need people to know it. He's on his second attorney so far. He's spending retirement money to pay for attorneys to try to battle Arizona State University to keep them from taking the home he's owned for 50 years. Are you tracking me? You understand what I'm saying, America? Does that sound okay to you? That doesn't to me. And so I looked up who's the president of Arizona State University, and I found the name. It's a man named Michael Crow. Mr. Crow is the president of the university. So Mr. Crow, I hope you see this video. I would like to speak with you about Mr. Young and this scenario going on with the home that he owns. We can get on the phone. We can have a Zoom call. You can have whoever you want on the call, attorneys, your staff, your board. I don't care. And let's chat about this gentleman going on 90 years old and why you think your green space is more important than a house he's owned since 1975, and the house is 126 years old and he's almost 90. Your green space, huh? That's what you're concerned about. Well, we're concerned about Mr. Young. And I think most Americans would probably weigh on the side of Mr. Young. So what I want to find out, is there not an alternative? Surely someone at the university, including you, is smart enough to find another alternative other than the house he's owned since 1975 that's a historic house to put your green space. Surely. So reach out to me. I'm easy to find. And I would love to have a phone call, a Zoom meeting, whatever you want. I think there's got to be a better way to do this. There's no reason why an 89-year-old man should be spending his retirement money to fight you in a courtroom to save a house he's owned for over 50 years, right? So let's have the conversation. This is right up my alley. This is the job I signed up for as special envoy to American landowners. I think we can figure this out. So for everybody else out there, forward this video, repost it, and leave your comments in the comments section. I'm going to tag ASU and Mr. Crow so they can see your comments and weigh in on it. I think the court of public opinion is very important in this case. And we should know what you think. I think the university should know what you think. The city of Phoenix should know what you think. Okay? So weigh in, repost, and I'll keep you guys posted. Mr. Crow, give me a call. I'll be waiting. God bless you. God bless America.
Yeah. Trying to take an old man's house away. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right. I need a break. I got to go to the bathroom. So, safety meeting.
A nice cream cake, baby. I'm just letting myself be. Yeah. Well, the day's been heavy, I'm not gonna lie. Too many thoughts rolling through my mind. So I grabbed my pipe, took a look around, and told all my worries, y'all can settle down. I ain't running, I ain't hiding, I just need a little room. Sometimes peace shows up quietly and chases out the gloom. There ain't no emergency, ain't no race. Sometimes you just need a little bit of space. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Let the heavy drift away. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. The world's gonna spin with or without me. I'm just gonna sit right here and let myself be. People ask me, smoke profit, what's the plan? I say, brother, I'm just one old man. Read a little scripture, watch the clouds roll by. Thank the Lord above for another sunrise. I ain't looking for all the answers. I ain't chasing what's out of reach. Sometimes the quiet says a whole lot more than words can never teach. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Let the heavy drift away. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. The world's gonna spin with or without me. I'm just gonna sit right here and let myself be. Now, ice cream cake ain't hard to love. Sweet vanilla drifting on the breeze above. I ain't trying to disappear. I'm just putting my worries in another gear. Life gets loud, that much is true, but I don't have to join in too. One deep breath and a little smile, and life gets lighter for a while. No, sir, I ain't escaping. I ain't hiding from a thing. I'm just slowing down enough to hear the evening sing. The birds still chirp, the wind still blows. Funny how peace shows up when you let life go. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Sweet vanilla drifting my way. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. Lost Marine with a grateful smile. Just enjoying this a little while. The world can hurry if it wants to race. I'm gonna stay right here in my happy place. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Well, that's better. Coffee's warm, the sky's looking good. And today's a whole lot lighter than it was an hour ago. That'll do just fine. That'll do just fine.
All right. Moving on. Let's get back to the big list of the day and see what's going on. Let's see. The House rejected a rule to attach the Save America Act to the NDAA 198 to 224. Representative Luna, oh boy, says House GOP leadership should allow an amendment to attach voter ID and proof of citizenship or Save America to the actual text of the NDAA. If it is not done this easy or this way, it will easily be taken out. Yeah. So, and then
back to Shannon Bream for the view from Justice Thomas, who was a dissenter here. Shannon.
Yeah, in his dissent, he gets to that point, Bill, that you're making there. The 14th Amendment was enacted in the wake of the Civil War, quote, with the one pervading purpose of securing equal citizenship for the freed slaves. He writes, it was enacted, as Justice Harlan wrote, to secure to a race recently emancipated the civil rights that other citizens enjoyed. So Thomas has always been about that was the purpose of the 14th Amendment. He goes on to say that the court, meaning the majority now, has repurposed the 14th Amendment to protect its own set of preferred rights that the Reconstruction Congress never contemplated and that cannot find support in the text. Today, the court does so by recognizing a constitutional right to citizenship for the children of all foreign birth tourists and illegal aliens. Uses very specific language there. Again, Justice Thomas adhering and agreeing with the government's argument, with which they made here very passionately, that the 14th Amendment was about protecting the children of freed slaves and not what we've come to understand it as. You see his language there. He mentions birth tourism. It came up in the arguments, and clearly that's a very big concern of the dissenters. We also have dissents by Justice Alito and others, so we'll read those as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see where all of this goes. So then Mike Lawler, here we go.
So while some of my colleagues may not want to hear the truth, the same outrage you feel about Renee Good and Alex Preddy, you should feel about Sheridan Gorman and Laken Riley and every Angel family in this country.
I do feel that outrage.
You do not. Because if you did, you would not support sanctuary
Do you feel the
jurisdiction.
outrage about Alex
You should be
Preddy and
ashamed
Renee
of
Good?
yourself.
You should be
ashamed
You don't
of
belong in this
yourself,
committee. You
Jamie.
should get the hell
You're
out of
a
here.
disgrace.
You don't understand the
You're
rules
a
of the committee.
disgrace.
You don't understand the Constitution.
You're a disgrace.
Full of it.
Mr. Raskin,
You're
an absolute disgrace supporting sanctuary
Say
policies.
one word about
Get rid of
Say one
sanctuary
word about
policies.
Alex Preddy and
I
Renee
did.
Good.
I wrote a whole New York Times op-ed about it. You should be absolutely
follow the
ashamed of
rules of the
yourself
committee.
for not
Committee will
opposing
be-
sanctuary policies that resulted in their daughter's death.
The committee.
So
Yep. So, yep. And it's Sheridan Gorman's mom was there testifying. And, Raskin, starts his bullshit. And Raskin needs to be removed from office. He needs to be in prison. He's done so much shit. It's ridiculous.
Ruling opinion here.
So this is where, we're locked and loaded. So we'll have a piece of legislation that will drop called Anchors Away, which is going to define that section of the Constitution and the law, so that if you come here for the purposes of birthright citizenship, that we will define that, no, you're not a citizen. And ultimately, I think that there will be lawsuits and it'll go back to the Supreme Court, but you have to create a mechanism where you can challenge a ruling like that, which again was narrow in scope. But that being said, this is the legislative body. We get to decide who comes in this country, and we get to decide who leaves. So Anchors Away is going to be the next step in fighting against this invasion from China and Haiti and all over the world where people are coming here to undermine this country.
What about ending the welfare state? I mean, that also, of course, is the reason why everybody wants to go and have a baby on American soil, is because it entitles you to gratuitous levels of permanent welfare and privileges because of the now magic dirt that has been now magic dirt is now the law once again of the land. It's been the law of the land. I mean, we functioned like this. We functioned under birthright citizenship for as long as the 14th Amendment's been written. And so,
and the original intent of that, and we can't litigate the past. This is the hand that we've been dealt. But you're talking about the cost to America. So let's look under the Biden administration. We've talked about this before. 200,000 Afghanis came to the United States of America. What you would hope is that anybody comes to this country, they get a job, they work, they pay taxes, they contribute to society. But the Afghanis, those 200,000, over 50% are on welfare. Over 70% are getting free health care. Oh, by the way, we have veterans still killing themselves at a rate of 20 to 22 a day. Oh, by the way, we have kids in the third grade that can't read, write, and do arithmetic, and they're destined to go to prison because of that. If I have to choose between Americans or some illegal that's scripting off society, I choose Americans. And so we've got to fight back against this type of welfare state and, quite frankly, the deep state.
Yeah, there we go. So Andy Ogle's out pushing his legislation. President Trump says Free Tina became the rallying cry for the Republican Party over the past 2 years. Tina Peters just came to the White House to thank me for getting her released from prison in Colorado. She was put there because she found election fraud, but instead of arresting the people who committed the fraud, they arrested her. They gave her 9 years in jail, and she served 2. Much time in solitary confinement, along with hardened criminals and murderers. Then I got the Republican Party into gear, and she was released. Tina is a 70-year-old, suffered a major bout with cancer, but hopefully is now cancer-free. What she went through should never happen to anyone again. Just think of it. She caught the Democrats cheating. They put her in jail for voter fraud. They didn't want her out there speaking to the media. She knows that the voting machines are rigged and that the mail-in ballots are a disaster and that our elections are very dangerous and corrupt at a time when, with the threat of communism, we must be very wise and careful. It was an honor to have lunch with her. I was fortunate. My vote in 2024 was too big to rig, but they tried. There wasn't a thing they could do about it, but not everyone is in that position. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. So, I like that. Did you see that? They did a second one on this, and they put it in dark mode. So for those of us who have a hard time reading the black against the white, they did the white against the blue. That's pretty cool. Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah. So, why is Governor Newsom so happy about the birthright citizenship? Well, you're about to find out.
So there's enormous political influence here. There's another component to this will, and that's the rise of surrogacy. So in this particular case, a guy in China will hire an American woman to carry his child. He'll pay her 50 to 60 grand to carry the child. Same thing, the child is born. The child will be a U.S. citizen because they were born here. Also, their mother, their biological mother, is American. They will then be picked up oftentimes by a third party, not even by the dad, picked up by a third party and sent back to China. We have no idea of the numbers on this. The Chinese government hasn't even estimated, but let me just give you 2 data points. Number one, the Wall Street Journal had an article about 5 weeks ago, a front page story about a single billionaire in China who's close to the CCP. He alone has 100 children that were born in the United States by this technique that are now being raised in China. This is in the Wall Street Journal. And there are other instances of guys that are, like in the middle double digits. But to look at the scale of this, just in Southern California, we found 107 Chinese-owned surrogacy companies that are offering these services in China to members of the elite. So this is a huge, huge, huge problem.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I was getting a cup of coffee. Oh. All right. Moving on. Ben Bergquam, or not Ben Bergquam, Secretary Bergquam. I'm sorry. What am I thinking? Here we go.
Well, I think, again, when we take a look at the length of conflicts in history, this has been so short compared to others. And President Trump, as he's demonstrated just even a few weeks ago, if they're not willing to negotiate, he can go back to a different approach. Because, again, the key here, having a terror group, having a nuclear weapon, it's not really like a country. It's a terrorist group. But a terrorist group would use that. And it'd be the first time in the world history where a terrorist group willing to use a nuclear weapon would have one. President Trump has basically averted World War III and got oil prices back down to where we were pre-conflict. I would just say that all of that's been masterful. And, of course, the U.S. economy looking very bright with lower taxes, lower regulation, record investment coming in terms of new job creation, manufacturing coming back, and the most secure and lowest energy prices in the world. It's another reason why people are moving manufacturing back to the U.S. Well, I think, again, when we take a look at the...
So price per barrel is going down, but the investment of energy is rising. Yeah. Kim Katie, USA, while U.S. was conducting enforcement at the business, the owners stepped outside and started hurling slurs at the agents. The business openly supports illegal aliens and showed exactly where they stand when federal agents showed up to do their job. Patriots doing do your thing to this illegal alien supporting business in Las Vegas, complete trash owners. Let's see.
Sorry, fucks. Fuck out of here. You gotta fucking get the fuck out of here. Yo, you gotta get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. You don't fucking get it? Get your fucking car, get the fuck out. That's you too, bro. Fuck you. Bounce. The fuck out of here. Piece of shit. Motherfuckers. We're done. No, as soon as you're done, you're done. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, well, good. Get the fuck out. Bye, bitch. Fucking faggots. Go fuck with somebody else. Don't come back again. This is my property. Are you threatening us? Are you threatening us? Are you threatening us that you're going to shoot us? Is that what you're doing? Are you threatening us? I own this thing. You own it. Get my property, you fucking fag. Where's your warrant to be on private? Where's your warrant? Now you got your warrant. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking stupid ass white boy. Fucking faggot. We get brought in again, we'll come back in. All right, faggot. Come back again. Come back again. We'll have some for your ass. Fucking bitches, assholes. Here, my dick. Here. Fuck you. Here, put your taser right here. Put your taser on my dick. Put your taser on my dick. Out. Fuck you. Fuck you. My fucking cock. Fucking fag.
Well, I guess that's kind of anti-American, isn't it? Just a little bit, I think. Yeah, just a little bit.
Thank you so much. Just want to get your thoughts on J.D. Vance going in the Senate to preside over the Senate to actually implement the talking filibuster. Is this a viable path forward to get the Save America Act passed?
Sure, it is. It's a scorched earth deal, though. I mean, because there's no turning back. It totally guts the phone. And who are we going to put in there behind him? That's always what you got to worry about, is who's going to be the number two.
Yeah.
It's not going to be somebody conservatives that votes like you or I would. I can guarantee you, because the Senate will just have their feelings hurt, and that's the way they'll do.
So what's the alternative?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm all for it. I don't care. I'm all for it. I'm a scorched earth kind of guy.
I love it.
As we say in East Tennessee, scorched earth, ERF.
Okay, so can you talk to J.D. Vance then to get this done?
Maybe I have.
Ooh, I love it. Okay, thank you, Congressman. Thank you so much. Just want to get
Interesting. So remember, I talked about that last week, that if that the concept of the president of the Senate initiating it, that it's undeniably the perfect way to go at them, because nobody can say no, because he's the president of the Senate. They can't do shit. So a little bit more on American history. This guy put some good clips together. I like what he does.
For listeners, this is going to blow your mind. You have no idea how much Christian sort of standards were written into all the, many of the founding documents. So all I'm going to do right here is read the prayer of the First Continental Congress. O Lord, our Heavenly Father, high and mighty King of Kings and Lord of Lords, who dost from thy throne behold all the dwellers on earth and reignest with power supreme and uncontrolled over all the kingdoms, empires, and governments, look down in mercy, we beseech thee, on these our American states who have fled to thee from the rod of the oppressor and thrown themselves on thy gracious protection, desiring to be henceforth dependent only on thee. To thee have they appealed for the righteousness of their cause. To thee do they now look up for that countenance and support which thou alone canst give. Take them, therefore, Heavenly Father, under thy nurturing care. Give them wisdom of counsel and valor on the field. Now I'm going to skip forward. So the prayer ends like this. Preserve the health of their bodies and the vigor of their minds. Shower down on them and millions they here represent such temporal blessings as thou seest expedient for them in this world, and crown them with everlasting glory in the world to come. And then here's how it ends. All this we ask in the name and through the merits of Jesus Christ, thy Son and our Savior. Amen. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the first prayer at the First Continental Congress. And then fast forward 250 years, and you have people saying, in no sense was our nation founded on Christian principles in any way. It's crazy. I got a little explanation for why this is. What you're seeing is literally, you're seeing Romans 1 in action. Yes. It says that when people exchange the truth of God for a lie, it says that they, quote, suppress the truth in their unrighteousness. So whenever an ideology becomes an idol, and by the way, secularism is an ideology that becomes an idol. Whenever an ideology becomes an idol, truth suppression begins to happen. What does truth suppression look like? It looks like rewriting the entire founding of our nation so that it doesn't sound like it was in any sense Christian. Now, why do they do that? Here's the strategy. Rewrite the past to control the future. Yes. I just want to say that one more time. If we want the future of a nation, a society, a culture to be a godless, secular, honestly, gospel opposing future, well, then we have to rewrite the past in order to control the future. That's the strategy. That's why dudes like that are really important. That guy right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something. All right. And then Ron DeSantis, here we go.
Temporary authority for Florida to suspend certain restrictions while allowing the legislature to review long-term policy decisions. Additionally, this legislation prohibits pre-planned adoption agreements and surrogacy contracts involving citizens or residents of foreign countries of concern. China ships people here for birth. They do it's really a seedy thing, and I'm glad that we were able to do that. I know we're hoping that the Supreme Court is going to interpret the 14th Amendment so that we can put a stop to some of the people that are coming here for a month, having birth, and then going back to China. That's part of an operation. Why would we let that happen and grant citizenship under those circumstances? Bill also creates enhanced criminal penalties for crimes committed to benefit foreign governments or foreign-owned terrorist organizations. As I mentioned, charitable organizations. It prohibits those organizations from accepting contribution or support from designated terrorist organizations.
Yeah. So it's kind of, judicially mandating that foreigners are entitled to birth U.S. citizenships against the wishes of the people as reflected in the law means we cease to be our own rulers. That's a big statement, a big one. And let's see what Judge Thomas has to say.
Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence, and hence our form of government. It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government. It requires of the people a subservience and weakness incompatible with a constitution premised on the transcendent origin of our rights.
Yeah.
Progressive.
There you go. And he's not playing, so this is Harry Reid when when he was a when he was I think he was the majority whip at that time.
If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough, how about offering a reward for being an illegal immigrant? No sane country would do that, right? Guess again. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship and guarantee of full access to all public and social services this society provides. And that's a lot of services. Is it any wonder that 2/3 of the babies born at taxpayer expense at county-run hospitals in Los Angeles are born to illegal alien mothers? If making it...
Yeah, and that's in 93. Just offer them a reward for having the babies here. Yeah, you know, it's just, yeah. Governor Mickey Sherrill says, today the Department of Homeland Security has confirmed that it is backing down and will try not to establish a mass detention center at an industrial warehouse in Roxbury. This is a major victory for the state and for the township of Roxbury. This has never been a partisan case because the plan to establish a detention center at the Roxbury warehouse was always unlawful. Converting a warehouse for packages into a detention center for thousands of people would not only be inhumane, but also have the devastating local and environmental impacts. It would not make New Jersey any safer. That's why we took the department to court and forced the Trump administration to abandon its plans. And then, but Mark Wayne Mullins had this to say, DHS will never back down. We will be keeping this site for a detention center. Illegal aliens have a choice. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, arrest you, and deport you. We have a legal system that must be followed. We will enforce our nation's laws. There you go. It's that simple. And then here goes Andy Ogles.
Hey everybody, Congressman Andy Ogles here. Breaking news. I don't know if you're paying attention, but the Supreme Court just had a horrible decision as it pertains to birthright citizenship. And I would even say really betrayed America when it comes to birthright citizenship. So I have a bill that's going to address it from the legislative perspective. Look, we are co-equal branches of government. Our founding fathers warned us against an all too powerful judiciary, and you see that playing out right now. So I have a bill. It'll be called Anchors Away, which, look, if you're not a U.S. citizen, if you're not a green card holder, and you have a child on U.S. soil, today that child would be a U.S. citizen. Under my bill, under my legislation, we fix that and go back to what our founders intended. So in short, what this bill does is if you are a pregnant woman, you can't come into this country. You've got to be a citizen, be here. You have to have a green card holder. So if you're pregnant and you don't have one of those statuses, no admittance allowed.
Yep. And now what we need is every ambassador worldwide that we have worldwide to start denying visas to people that are pregnant, you know. So Namdi Plume put this up. The U.S. of A doesn't belong to American citizens. It belongs to the rest of the world. C.J. Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. All right, let's see what he says. Here we go.
So the U.S. Supreme Court just ruled 5-4 in a decision where Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett decided to join the internationalists and expose themselves. They took the mask off. So we know exactly who they are now. We know exactly what to expect. And I think we knew exactly what to expect the entire time. But they just decided in a 5-4 decision that as long as you can get here and step foot on American soil, that you can drop a baby here and that baby is not an American citizen, because the United States of America doesn't belong to American citizens, according to the internationalists, the globalists, the imperialist system. You guys know who I'm talking about. It doesn't belong to you, doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the entire world, which I believe we've seen play out in how our tax dollars are spread around the entire world for generations. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is, do you notice how there's not been one single riot? Not one protest. Nobody's attacked the Supreme Court. You've not seen a single federal building be burned to the ground. You've not seen a single federal officer or an elected representative or anybody attempt to be assassinated as a result of this ruling. But you can never say the same thing about the left. In fact, on the Patriot Source podcast last night, Patriot Dad basically predicted this ruling for a lot of reasons, but one of the main ones is because you didn't see any fences and barriers being erected around the Supreme Court building. Because if it had gone the other way, they would be attacking and trying to firebomb the Supreme Court building right now. Wouldn't they? Now, all of you libs out there that are clutching your face and you guys are celebrating right now because, you know, the United States now officially belongs to the rest of the world, which is exactly what you want. I want you to think long and hard about that. And if you don't have a problem with the fact that they knew conservatives would not be trying to attack the Supreme Court building as a result of this ruling, but you also know for a fact that the reason they would have had to have put those fences up if the ruling was going to go the other way is because you guys are a bunch of violent assholes. You know I'm right.
Yeah. he's just so matter of fact about it, isn't he? He is. You talking about this one? That one? She's outside playing right now. It's cool out there, so she doesn't want to be inside. No, it's yeah, really cool out there. She's doing good though. She's doing good. And I'm gonna let her play. All right. Then coming soon, supersonic flights. All right. This was put up by Secretary Sean Duffy. The FAA news is clearing the way for supersonic technology to take to the skies at Mach 1 speeds. The airspace is about to get faster. Welcome to the golden age of travel. And then he pointed to this video. Yeah, that's just one of the things they got planned. Yeah, so fired FTC Commissioner sues, expands presidential power. Rebecca Slaughter challenged her removal in court, and the Supreme Court responded with a decision. She admits transfers massive power from Congress to the president. The former FTC commissioner now calls her own legal defeat disturbing. Her lawsuit didn't restrain executive power; it supercharged it. And let me tell you, that's going to have a big thing to do there. White House sharing that same video. Yeah, and then here we go. This is Mrs. Gorman. Her daughter Sheridan was killed by an illegal.
On March 19th, Sheridan went with friends to the lakefront in Chicago because they hoped they might see the northern lights. She never saw those lights. The man accused of murdering my daughter is Jose Medina, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela who should not have even been in this country. And even after committing a crime and having an outstanding warrant, he was left on the streets of Chicago to murder my innocent American child. But this story, it's not about him. The story is about my Sheridan. It's about how failed border policies, sanctuary city laws, and twisted leaders refused to cooperate with ICE. They sent her to her grave. It's about a government and politicians that forgot their first priority. And the question before this committee is painfully simple. When did protecting our American citizens stop being your first priority? And even more important, why did protecting our American citizens stop being your first priority? I want an explanation, I need one, and I deserve one. But first, I want you to know who my Sheridan was. I want you to understand what we all lost because of your mismatched priorities. My husband and I have always joked that our older daughter, Madeline, is our pride. Well, Sheridan was our joy. From the moment she was born, Sheridan was pure energy, enthusiasm, laughter, fun. She was the kind of person who made every room brighter and usually a little louder. Which is why when Sheridan was in kindergarten, I remember going to her first parent-teacher conference. I was a little nervous because while she was the sweetest little girl you could possibly imagine, I remember sitting down across from her teacher, bracing myself and asking with bated breath, "So, how's my Sheridan?" I'll never forget when the teacher looked at me very seriously and said, "I only have one thing to say to you." Oh, my stomach dropped. Then she said, "Your Sheridan stalks the buddy bench." I remember blinking at her. "I'm sorry, what?" She said, "Your Sheridan stalks the buddy bench." I was totally confused and I asked, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? And what exactly is a buddy bench? And the teacher smiled and said, "It's a beautiful thing." She explained that they had a bench in the play yard. She said that not all kids are as outgoing and confident as your Sheridan. So the children were told that if they wanted to play or if they felt lonely, left out, shy, they could sit on that bench. And then the other children were told that if they saw someone sitting there, they should go over, talk to them, ask them to play. And apparently Sheridan, my tiny kindergartner, had appointed herself the guardian of that bench. Every day at recess, instead of heading straight to the swings or joining in a game of kickball, my daughter hung back and hovered by the nearby tree, just watching that bench, just waiting, just in case someone might need her. The kids didn't even have a chance to fully sit down on the bench before Sheridan was rushing over to take them, to take their hand, pull them away. Girls, boys, first graders, kindergartners, it really didn't matter to her. If a child looked lonely, Sheridan went over. If someone had no one to play with, Sheridan was there. If someone felt invisible, Sheridan saw them. That was my daughter, and that is who she was until the day she was stolen from us. And I honestly can't make sense of it. I cannot make peace with it. And in what world does the child who spent her life making sure no one was lonely die terrified and alone on a pier in Chicago?
Yeah. Well, she asked a pretty serious question there, right? Didn't you go in there to protect the American people? When did you stop protecting the American people? And the most important question of all, why did you stop protecting the American people? It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. All right, then Seattle ICE, ERO, has once again intercepted the release of a criminal illegal alien outside the Yakima County Jail. The jail does not honor ICE detainers, according to the agency. And these guys just swept in and scooped him up. Yep, pretty simple. Let's see.
Today, the subcommittee convenes to continue its oversight of an underreported but critically important issue facing our nation's immigration enforcement agencies. I speak of the crisis of unaccompanied alien children, or UACs, who become lost in our nation's immigration system due to the liberal open border immigration policies of the previous administration. The Biden administration's immigration policies created a humanitarian crisis that left around 300,000 UACs without proper legal oversight, and they became vulnerable to exploitation. Our southern border became an enormous national security liability during the Biden years, becoming a highway for organized crime, including widespread child trafficking into the United States. Further, the Biden administration prevented the effective processing and monitoring of unaccompanied alien children, monitoring that was meant to prevent these children from falling into further abuse. Last July, the subcommittee held a hearing addressing the UAC issue. In that hearing, we examined a devastating report by the DHS Office of Inspector General, which exposed the previous administration's shocking conduct toward UACs. This report revealed that ICE did not effectively oversee UAC's processing upon placement with sponsor families, failing to maintain contact with hundreds of thousands of immigrant children. Crucially, the Biden administration denied HHS's Office of Refugee Resettlement, or ORR, that's the agency charged with matching the children with sponsors. They denied them the ability to share its UAC data with ICE. This fueled a cascading crisis of unaccountability. As a result, the full extent of the Biden administration's failure to protect and monitor UACs is still coming to light. A subsequent audit by HHS OIG released just this month found that during the Biden administration, the Office of Refugee Resettlement conducted required monitoring of UAC care facilities in Texas and Florida only 69% of the time. ORR created numerous opportunities for facility staff to be onboarded without undergoing background checks, creating countless opportunities for traffickers and predators to gain access to migrant children. Upon taking office, the Trump administration immediately took measures to reverse President Biden's harmful policies. Under its new leadership, ORR promptly restored responsible, strict sponsor vetting requirements that the Biden administration had dismantled. President Trump also restored ICE access to the ORR database that contains information about UACs and their sponsors, finally allowing for proper monitoring of these vulnerable children to begin. These and other enforcement efforts have seen results. The Trump administration has recovered 146,000 UACs since taking office. However, Biden-era immigration policies have had lasting effects. Countless thousands of UACs remain unaccounted for in our country. Tragically, many of these children have been subjected to assault, forced labor, and worse. The Department of Justice continues to announce indictments against illegal aliens who have trafficked children into our country. By taking advantage of loopholes that existed during the Biden administration, child traffickers abused the UAC sponsorship process to falsely claim family connections to migrant children. The extent of abuse endured by some of these children is disgusting. Each trauma they experience represents a preventable tragedy born from the policies of the Biden administration. More must be done to undo the damage wrought by the Biden administration, literally generational trauma forced upon our nation. Congress is ready to partner with President Trump to provide our federal law enforcement agencies with the tools they need to rescue these children and bring criminal child traffickers to justice. Today, we have assembled a panel of expert professionals to shed light on the nature of the problem from the ground level. I look forward to today's discussion and the insights that our attendees can share.
You know, and for that to be the opening statement an hour ago for that committee, and you notice that the only thing that you see there are the Republicans. Where are the Democrats? Why aren't they in their seats? Why aren't they there? I got questions. You know, because, you know, I spend, as you guys know, I spend a lot of time well, not a lot of time. I spend some time of my day writing songs because the situations that I see and understand the circumstances of, you know, and I did one just a couple of weeks ago, and we ended up doing it live. We put the music together live, and then later on I turned it into a video. Actually, not really a video; it's just an image, but a way for me to put it up on YouTube, anyways. And let's see. Let me see if I can find it here. Right here.
Somewhere in the darkness, behind a locked up door, a little voice is crying that nobody hears anymore. They've been waiting on a hero, they've been praying for a sign, wondering if anybody's coming before they run out of time. Some have seen more evil than a child should ever know, carrying scars and memories no young heart should have to hold. While the world keeps turning pages and the headlines come and go, there's a child still waiting somewhere for somebody to show. Go find those children, bring them safely home. Let them know they're not forgotten. Let them know they're not alone. Put the cuffs on every monster. Let the guilty answer too. Cause a nation shows its character by what it chooses to do. Go find those children. Don't look the other way. Every minute matters when a child's afraid. This ain't left or right, red or blue. It's about the little ones depending on me and you. Some wore a brave face, some learned not to cry. Some quit asking questions when nobody asked why. But deep inside they're hoping there's a light beyond the pain, a hand that reaches for them and breaks every chain. No excuse is good enough, no reason will suffice when innocence is stolen and childhood pays the price. The measure of a people ain't the wealth they leave behind, it's whether they protect the weakest when evil draws the line. Go find those children, search every road and town. Leave no stone unturned until everyone is found. And when they finally make it home, let healing start anew. Because every child is precious and every life breaks through. Go find those children, let the whole world hear the call. For if we won't stand up for them, then what do we stand for at all? So when history writes a story of what this generation chose to do, may it say, we heard the cries, and we went and found those children. Go find those children. Go find those children.
So for so many of us, you know, we got into this battle when hang on one second. Hello.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. Say hi. Nice.
Whoever. Hi.
Well, because I'm live.
Oh.
Oh.
YouTube said it was over.
YouTube said it was over.
Yeah. It said it was live. And then I thought it was your outro.
Oh, no. I was playing the song because we were just talking about child trafficking. I just played a long clip of Clay Higgins' opening statement in regards to the children that are missing.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Now, I have a question about the ruling.
Okay.
Real quick, and I know you're live, so everybody can hear this.
Well, I don't know how well they can hear, but I think they can hear. Yeah.
So, did you read what Ketanji Brown Jackson's argument was for upholding birthright citizenship?
No, I haven't yet. I've only seen Alito's and Judge Thomas's. I haven't seen the others yet. Go ahead.
This is what happens when you don't lock up the argument. Her argument was that because American citizens can be charged in other countries for crimes, that is why we need to uphold birthright citizenship.
Yeah, that's kind of.
It makes about as much sense as it sounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, based on her arguments, right, that particular argument, can you explain to me why we have SOFA agreements in places like Japan, Korea, and any other place where we have military installations if we're not indeed sovereign?
I'm not sure. But it's Miss Mindersu's birthday. That much I know.
Happy birthday.
You got to sing it.
Oh, I can't do that. I sound like a walrus bellowing on a rock.
What do you mean you sound like a walrus bellowing on a rock? How could that possibly be? That's not possible. All right. Well, let me get back to the podcast and I'll give you a call after I get done. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. So that was Slow Country calling in. That was cute and funny, sort of, kind of. It was at the same time. And the world is gone. Crazy. I said crazy. What can we do though? What can we do? Happy birthday, Miss Mindersu. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Mindersu. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Now I hope Ren's going to take you out for a full body massage and a nice steak dinner or something. He's a creative man. I know this because he's been down here with you quite a few times, and I'm pretty sure he'll keep you busy for your birthday, or at least a good part of it, anyways. But it's good to see you. I wanted to double check the podcast here and make sure that we're still functional. Yeah, we're still functional. Yeah. All right. So Katie Hopkins says, "Dear at the
today the subcommittee convenes."
Okay. There is no pleasure in watching cowards debanked. But standing with those who risk everything for freedom is far higher ground. God bless the Canadian truckers. We will not forget you. And this is in regards to cancel culture is a myth. So this is the idea that the political right is under siege. And then breaking, cannery debanked by Lloyd's. Lloyd's has debanked the cannery with no warning or explanation, putting the outlet in severe financial crisis. Yeah. It's just, yeah. So I'm not sure what the cannery is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Katie, I don't know. More context. Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. Just in the we did that one. So that was the denial for that. The State Department should immediately cease to give out visas to pregnant applicants. Sorry, birth tourism cannot continue. Yeah, pretty simple. I'm going right past them. I'm not dealing with them. Let's see. O'Keefe catches LA election fraud again. Election petition worker offers cash for fake signatures on California ballot petition. NGO workers confirm election fraudsters are still out here. Warns O'Keefe Media Group undercover journalist to stay quiet near cops. All right, so the name you're going to write is going to be Timothy Adams. I'm going to give you a name. Write it down. I'll give you $2. They'll election fraudsters be across the street. They be right here. They be somewhere on every corner. So these people can go from corner to corner, make $2 per signature, and basically make a couple $100 a day. Yeah, it's pretty much that simple, right? Yeah. All right. Let's see. And Elon says AOC is just an actor. No, really. 2017, a group called the Justice Democrats held auditions for potential congressional candidates they'd run on their platform for various congressional seats. AOC is just an actor. It's her puppet masters that are disapprovable by a Google search, or that are disprovable by Google search, but a lot of people will believe her. Yeah. So they held auditions. And her brother is the one who submitted her for the audition. So, yeah. So the boys are out of girls' sports. That's done. This large cactus in Paradise Valley, Arizona, isn't a real cactus. The government is now disguising flock cameras as cactuses to surveil you. Hidden in this fake cactus is a hidden license plate reading camera. Paradise Valley installed these disguised cacti cameras to catch speeding and other violations. From what I could find, the contract is very likely flock. This is a surveillance state. Let's take a listen to what the analysis came out to, though.
Sometimes it's hard to tell if this is a real cactus or not, but it's definitely fake. Look at that.
This is absolutely a fake cactus. It's secretly hiding a license plate reading surveillance camera. It's located in Paradise Valley, Arizona. They installed these cacti cameras years ago to catch speeding and other violations. They wanted them to not look like the obvious poles, so they made them these secret cacti cameras. Very clever, very sneaky. If you're wondering who has the contract, it is very likely Flock Safety Cameras. So now the government is secretly hiding cameras in fake cactuses to give you tickets.
Sometimes it's hard to tell if this.
No, it's real. The surveillance state is, it's just crazy. April Sparks says, why is the FCC looking at The View? It's not because the government can regulate political opinions. The issue is whether ABC's The View still qualifies for the FCC's bona fide news interview exemption. If it doesn't, certain appearances by political candidates could trigger the federal equal time rule requiring comparable opportunities for opposing candidates. At the same time, the FCC is reviewing the licenses of ABC-owned stations. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr says the agency is simply enforcing the law, while ABC and Disney argue the investigations violate the First Amendment and amount to government overreach. This is shaping up to be a major test of the balance between broadcast regulations and free speech. So what in the dystopian future is happening? All I wanted to do was watch The View today, and look at what I saw during the commercial break.
I had this idea for a show. Different women, different points of view. The View has welcomed your favorite guests and covered the issues you care about for nearly 30 years. Now, the FCC wants to control who is allowed to appear on the show. Viewers, use your voice. Scan this QR code. You have until July 6th.
That's alarming. What's happening to freedom of speech in this country? And no, they didn't just play that commercial once. They played another version towards the end of the episode.
Chicago, use your voice. No one supports your community like ABC7, sharing your stories, holding us together. ABC7 has proudly served you for more than 70 years. Every day we commit to inform, entertain, and serve you. Now, the FCC is questioning our commitment to the community. Show your support for WLS-TV by scanning this QR code today. You have until July 29th to tell the FCC to keep your trusted local station on the air.
The View is America's #1 most watched daytime talk show with millions, upwards of 2 million viewers an episode. Love it or hate it, The View is highly influential, and it has become crystal clear that this administration doesn't like the influence that The View has on voters, specifically women voters. I wish I didn't have to block out the code on those last 2 commercial clips, but you know how these apps are. They don't like codes like that. But you can easily access that web page where you can let the FCC know how you feel about what's happening to The View by Googling The View and FCC. You'll see a link from ABC, and it'll take you directly to the page that you need to go to.
Well, I'll respond to this young lady. Is that when there is people claiming to be journalists on the panel daily, and they're reporting the news, but giving only their opinion of the news, and then spewing about 70% of their content is bullshit lies, and are constantly having to be corrected by their higher ups, and have to issue statements of apology, then it tells me that opinion-based shows that have 2 million viewers out of 330 million. So they're not as big as you think. They just happen to be big names that happen to be on one show. And more than anything else, I think that any Republicans who are watching it are basically watching for content that they can clip and put up and disprove claims and comments from the panelists. So deal with it. Deal with it. Period. Go for it, FCC. Make them fucking follow the rules. Period. So, all right. And then we're back up at the top. Okay, a payphone was put in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and another payphone was put in one of the poorer neighborhoods. The payphones call each other. It went exactly how you would expect. This is one of the first calls that was made. Okay.
We put a payphone in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and when you pick it up, it will automatically call another payphone in a neighborhood with one of the highest poverty rates in Los Angeles. And this is one of the first calls that went through.
Hello. It was good. I need some money. I need some money.
So do I.
Yeah. All right.
How's your weekend going?
It's going good.
What did you do today?
I went steal from CVS.
You what?
I went jack something out of, I went steal some shit out of CVS.
How'd it go?
It went good.
Okay.
I made it. I had passed. And I made some money off of it.
Oh, good.
Well, it ain't nothing too much, but it did finally propel me. Let's go get us some tacos tonight.
I can't today, but maybe another time. You should look up at the moon. It's really beautiful. Almost full moon.
I'm finna look at it.
Oh, Jesus. And the only thing that this phone does is calls another, calls another payphone. Yeah. All right. USAID ran a secret fake Twitter to spark revolution USAID, ran a secret fake Twitter to spark revolution in Cuba, funded Venezuelan opposition politicians directly, got expelled from Bolivia after WikiLeaks cables revealed the ambassador admitted aid was hidden by our use of third parties. All documented, all sourced. This isn't conspiracy. It's declassified. And Elon says, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yep. So all of this stuff is going to come out, and it's crazy. And then, oh boy. Yeah, and that's where we're going to leave it for today. Yeah, so there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and we just got to kind of walk our way through it, right? Yeah, that's all we can do. So what I will say to you today is watch what comes out of Congress over the next couple of weeks. Watch what comes out, and watch it closely where it comes to anchor babies, citizenship, so on and so forth. I have a feeling that we'll be pleasantly surprised here over probably the course of the next few days. We'll probably get some more responses like Andy Ogle did in regards to representation of bills in order to have the congressional means to stop it outside of the Supreme Court. We'll see how that goes. And then we'll keep our eye on other things. I'll keep watching things later this evening when I come back in. I do got some projects I got to try and get done today. So I'm getting ready to head out and do those. Thank you to those of you who donated yesterday to help with the dogs. It was very much appreciated. We got some food in last night for them, so they're pretty content. And we'll work on other things as time goes by. Remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, I love you, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow sometime. I'm not going to guarantee I'll be on before noon tomorrow. Because Jake is going to be coming by to do some clearing in a section of the property. And I know I'm going to need to be out there for part of that. So as quickly as I find out what we're going to be doing out there and how long it'll take, I'll come in and get a podcast set up. And then we'll go from there. Just keep plugging along. That's all we can do. I'll try to keep an eye on the White House as much as possible today to see what else comes out of there and try and have more stuff accumulated for you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, remember, keep your head on a swivel and keep your heart and your mind on God. Yeah, it's the easiest thing to do.
Woke up this morning to a world on fire. Everybody shouting, climbing walls. Oh, wow. Fear on the TV, lies across the screen. Hard to know these days what anything means. But I hear my Father's voice down in my soul. Stand up straight, don't let the darkness take control. Love your neighbor, hold the line, stay alive. Open up your eyes and let your spirit drive. Don't let the noise pull you under. Don't lose your heart in the thunder. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Little old lady waving from a porch swing. Kids on the sidewalk still learning to dream. Somebody praying in the middle of pain. Somebody dancing in the pouring rain. There's still good people helping strangers stand. Still working hard with calloused hands. Still holding family, still holding faith. Still finding hope when it all feels late. Don't let the fear define you. There's still a fire inside you. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Oh, don't forget who you are. You were made from the dust and the stars. Oh, even when shadows fall, love is still the strongest thing of all. Keep your head on a swivel, don't lose your grace. Every scar tells a story, every soul has a place. And if somebody stumbles, you help them stand tall. That's the kind of strength that can heal us all. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your faith alive. There's still hope for tomorrow as long as we try. Yeah, the world